chat. What are you looking at, camera? I'm over here. Over here? Let's see if we can't manually do it. It doesn't seem to be waking up. I need the software to do its thing, I think. There we go. Hi, folks. Welcome back. Hi, I'm Chef JT. Happy to see ya. Happy Wednesday to you. Hopefully your week's going well. What's happening? What's new? We're working with Warheads tonight, because you voted for it. So, I don't know what we're going to do with that, but yeah. So hi. Let's do some coffee. I broke my coffee maker this morning. We're gonna have to go old school. Well, hello, JK. Happy to see you, Will Poker. Hi there, Nan Reader. Hello, SoFluff. That feels rather light. Hope I got enough water for this project. There's at least some water in there. So yeah, I'm messing with... Right now I'm still working off old captions, at least on stream. But I'm toying with new options for captions on stream. The current option on stream, I've only been using this like a year and a half. But looking at a new option that may be a bit more accurate, but more CPU use, potentially heavier on my PC. And the other one is I'm looking to do the same thing for SprinkleBot. I'm getting into all sorts of problems with having these captions translated and then AI trying to work off of that. And I'm wanting to get like a pure sample, and so now I'm working on getting captions going straight to SprinkleBot from OBS. things are up in the air and maybe a little wonky when it comes to captions. Just saying. Nice, Soph. Bone broth. Yeah, beef bone broth. I had to, as I was saying, my other one broke. I had to switch over to the backup option. This is my travel Hario funnel. It looks clear, it looks glass, but it's plastic. Ooh, I need to get butter out, warming up. In fact, let's throw that in the microwave. Thank you for joining in with me, everyone. I hope you've had a good start to your week. Cheers. Okay, so we got some softened butter here. We'll get going with that first here. Starting off brown sugar here. Might actually, oh no, we're definitely not finishing that off, but that's still a little ridiculous there, ratio. That's not quite what I'm thinking. I pulled up a quick recipe for the cookies to give me a ratio, and I'm looking at this ratio and I'm like, no, that's not really what I want to do. Start with, I'm going to use this brown sugar for flavor. We're going to top it off with a little of this white sugar. Butter. Ooh. Butter got excited. Do I have vanilla still? Did I use up the last of my vanilla the other time? I think I did. Yep, not seeing it here. But I'm not seeing the other one I'm looking for either. There it is. Do a little almond extract since I have it and we're out of vanilla. Hey, Dragon Sage. Love the smell of almonds. I like the smell of almonds so much more than I actually like almonds. Cyanide. Okay, so that's mixed in there. What else are we throwing in here before we throw the eggs in there? I think we're good. Salt. We want our cookies to taste like something, so we'll give them some salt. initial part of this mixing with the eggs was to get the eggs whipped up and then started working on getting it all incorporated. And we're getting pretty close there. It's still looking a little separated. There we go. Throw my last egg in the refrigerator and make a mental note that I need eggs. We started on our dry stuff. Baking powder. Hi, Alex. Baking soda. And a mix, light mix, mostly to incorporate that flour. We don't want to hugely work it. But we do want a cookie dough, so it's got to be mixed some. Okay, so that looks mostly mixed. I don't think there's any big clumps of flour even, although the flour isn't completely mixed in. Oh hey, maybe I should have shown the board so everyone knew what I was doing all that time? Would that have helped, chat? My apologies. It's in the recording at least. Camera's especially got a mind of its own tonight. It already deactivated its auto follow again. Portion of this we are going to wrap up and cut. twisting these in opposite directions, so they're both tightening as I twist that. And that is going into the... let's start in the freezer. Using stock bags to hold the twists in place. You can tie them if you want to be more secure with it. I'm using it later tonight. You can do this days ahead if you want to. And this is just extra sugar cookie dough at this moment. I don't think I'm going to make this many cookies. I think it's too much for that. Maybe I'll just do plastic wrap. Do sort of the same thing, but just with plastic wrap this time. Label and date. Yeah, like, so now SprinkleBot is supposed to somehow interpret what Cleveland date means instead of me offhand saying you're supposed to label and date, which is like sort of like a meme with a commercial kitchen. Like, it's one of the things beaten into everyone's brain, whoever works in the back of the house. Label and date. Label and date. To the point we often have special stickers for things. But that's only in the fancy kitchens. I imagine the fancy kitchens these days have printers just for all that stuff. It's been a minute since I've been in... I posted a message in the Twitch creator channel for food and drink asking what people's, secret tricks were to getting their whites white when they get them messed up from working in the kitchen, because inevitably it happens. And like no one responded. I think no one responded because I realized after I posted that, like, no one modern day working is like they all have laundry services. So we got Sour Heads Extreme Sour. There's apple, there's blue raspberry, there's black cherry, and there's lemon. And we're going to ads. So I'll see you when you get back from ads. So I'm going to start by separating these out by color while we're in an ad. Just a random piece of candy in the bag. Interesting. Hopefully none of these lemon ones are like split open or something. Alright. Ooh, all sorts of apple too. Good. I like the apple ones. I don't really remember the rest of them for the most part. I don't really dislike any of them. This is probably my least favorite, but there's the least of them anyways, so I'm going to use those all for cookies tonight anyways. So the plans for the cookies are I'm going to make what are called stained glass sugar cookies. We're going to take primarily these three, crush them up, and then we're going to make cookies that look like they have like a glass pane in them, and we're going to fill them with the crushed candy. So the crushed candy melts into this like glaze, hopefully nicely colored like the candy, so it looks like stained glass on top of our sugar cookies. These two, I'm more planning for the main dish for the dinner tonight. I might leave some of these behind because I sort of like the apple ones. But we're going to do the apple and lemon, and I'm going to make a glaze to put over meatballs with some jalapeno and probably starch thicken it after we reduce it all into a pan. And then I'm going to do sort of a veggie rice to go with that. I say veggie rice, but more like carrots and onion and what else I can find in the fridge. It's probably just going to be carrots and onion, maybe green onion. And lastly, I got some sour cream for garnish. That's the plan for tonight. That they did, Alex. I sorted all my candy by color, and I started explaining what I was doing, what I'm planning on doing. If anyone out there has heard of stained glass cookies, our plans for tonight are to make stained glass sugar cookies using ground up Warhead candy as our sugar candy, or sugar glaze. And then I'm going to do it in apple and lemon glaze for pork meatballs along with a veggie rice. So that's the plans for tonight. Alright, let's get going with things here. Cookies need to sit for a little bit, so I don't need to get back to those right away. Why don't we get started on meatballs? We need to get some breadcrumbs soaking. I apologize to Italians who may be offended by not using old crusty bread. I sort of feel like this is old crusty bread to begin with, but hey. I got into a conversation over, it's supposed to be bread, not breadcrumbs. I'm like, I'm gonna go buy bread, let it go stale, and then use it for me? No. I mean, I understand if you got the bread around. We have any meatball purists that believe you need like torn pieces of bread in your meatballs versus breadcrumbs? I'm leaving all the candy on the cutting board now. What's everyone's thoughts on liquid smoke? I can't stand this stuff, but I'm getting the impression that more people are fans of it than I am. Like, it's just sort of like, why are you paying for someone to essentially distill their smokehouse smoke? Ugh. It doesn't taste right either. Like, it I'd much rather smoked paprika is a better option in my mind, as is smoked salt. I think is a better option. But liquid smoke, no thank you. And I also have a little is it in this, and with the spices, is it down below? It's down below. I don't know where it is. But is it up here too? Ah, here it is. Yeah. I got a little wood bowl. Battery powered. Like, these are great too if you want to infuse a sauce or something like that, or like, that's really what I think of liquid smoke's really only use for, is you want to camera is for putting smoke flavor into a sauce, maybe a marinade, but I wouldn't do that. Like, if just smoke it. garlic powder, ginger, if I can find it. Where did I hide you, ginger? Onion. Cayenne. You're not a sweet and sour fan? Barbecue sauce's primary use in my mind is for burgers. Barbecue burgers. Like, just about every other use of barbecue sauce, give me a dry rub. Yeah, even chicken. Give me a dry rub on... I don't want... No. I'm not necessarily against that statement. My mind just more goes towards either sweet and sour sauce or honey mustard. Worcestershire. But I can understand the barbecue. Okay, basic meatball mixture made. McDonald's actually has a pretty good barbecue sauce, too. Like, it's not... Like, a lot of barbecue sauces I sort of feel like are, like... a little like corn syrup with flavoring, with seasoning. And theirs isn't that thick. It isn't that sugary either, surprisingly. I'm not saying it isn't sweet, but it's not like Stubbs or extreme sweet, extreme... Those heavy St. Louis sauces. Or is it KC? KC, isn't it? I'm getting them all confused in my head now. Regardless, McDonald's, while sweet, is not like pure syrup. Let's see if we need to turn this so that it doesn't have a flat bottom. Oh, it has a creased bottom nicely. Nice, nice, nice. Key ingredients for barbecue sauce. Well, it depends on what region you're going, your ratio of mustard or ketchup in the party. But you certainly need brown sugar and vinegar. How much vinegar is, again, which part of the world you're in. And then... beyond that, you get into your chili seasonings and your other spices that you put in there, which everyone wants to hold secret, and you have everything from people putting coffee and chocolate in there to, you know, I don't know, you name it, they put it in their barbecue sauces. I've heard of barbecue sauces with ice cream in them, ice cream base in them. We're gonna start opening warheads. Get these lemons naked for making sauce. You have all sorts of soda-based ones too. Like, I've got a couple of recipes that I like for that too. Like, I'm not a big Dr. Pepper fan, so one of mine is not Dr. Pepper, but I've done Mountain Dew ribs before. I've done root beer. I've done lemon lime soda, other things. I'm getting that confused with barbecue, but yep, sugar and acid. And like, there's a lot of flavors and sodas that people don't really think about. Like, I mean, you look up Fantasia syrup, which is the like non-Coca-Cola Coca-Cola, and it's like vanilla citrus juice and okay, I think that's going to be good for the base of our sauce. Yeah, it's at least tripled in price during my lifetime. Like, we've gone from solidly like 20 ounces for less than $1 or at $1. Like, the machines when I was in high school, I want to say were $1.25 for 20 ounces. Maybe they were $1. Now it's like 3 and change for individual 20 ounce. Of course, at the same time, the convenience sizes have also gone up hugely in price. They've made it much more convenient over the years to buy the 6-pack, the 8-pack, the whatever they have in the main aisle versus an individual one. Used to be almost reasonable to buy an individual one. Now it's like, what am I going to use as my base for this? We can do a little lime. And we're going to need some water. Oh, hey, maybe I should turn the GoPro on. Maybe that'll wake up in a moment. Maybe I'll have to switch it. Let's quick check it. Okay. So we got a little lime water we'll start heating that up over on the stove, and we're going to melt the candies into that. So, lemon, green apple, and lime meatball glaze. Then we need to unwrap these and crush these for our cookies. I'm keeping one color for one cookie, sort of a thing. So we'll have to crush these in 3 separate groups. Starting to feel the acid on my fingers after opening a couple of these, because the acid on these is all on the outside of the candies. That's actually really, like, I actually sort of really like Warheads. I don't really eat them, but of the candies, they're pretty, like, they give you that good solid sour hit to begin with, but then they're a decent flavored candy, you know, fruit candy. Hey, Shauna. I guess dinner command is not working tonight? I don't know. We're working with Warheads candy for tonight's dinner. I am making stained glass window sugar cookies, which I'm currently working on these. We're going to crush these up and use these for our stained glass and our sugar cookies. And then I'm going to be doing a green apple, lemon, and lime glaze for pork meatballs. Maybe with jalapeno. Oh, there, it caught up, but I wonder if and I'm certain it is, that the new caption setup has got my Raspberry Pi back there sweating like me. Actually, let me go turn the fan on back here. Just to make sure that that thing ain't getting too hot. I mean, I could look at the dashboard, but I don't feel like loading that right now. I think that's a good set of those. That leaves me a couple of those. We're going to use all of these blue ones. Start off with crushing the pink. Might have to mute for this. Okay, so we got our 3 colors for our cookies. We've got our glaze started. Let's get in on our veggies for our rice. Starting with this last questionable onion. Hopefully this one's better than the first 2. I don't really trust it to be, though. Those first 2 were pretty bad. And I am yet again seeking for a new place to buy onions. I was so hopeful with the packaging that these were going to be an okay option for the onions, but looking much better so far. So far we're looking better. Had to think a second about what I was using this for. What am I cutting this for again? Rice. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my world. flame on underneath the pan here. Sauce off to the side. We're still going to have to thicken that with some cornstarch a little bit. Still debating if I want to add jalapeno into the mix or not. I sort of do, I think, but we'll get to that a little bit later, I think. I'm going to start in on sauteing these onions. Or at least sweating them, softening them. Not looking to do a heavy cook on them right now. I just want them off the cutting board while I get into doing carrots and green onions. Grab some carrots. Salt. I do want to completely soften these tonight, so these are going to cook for a little bit. I don't want to necessarily get a ton of color on them, I just want them soft. I don't want crunchy carrots tonight. Not in the mood for crunchy carrots. Debated between going back to working on cookies or getting our meatballs a little further along here first. I think I'm gonna go with cookies first. I'm gonna put the meatballs in the fridge though. Yeah, that's nice. Bit more set up now. So I think I should be able to slice through these. And start about where I think we'll start getting a full round circle. Nothing like cutting paper to make a nice sharp knife. Okay, so we got 6 cookies set up here. Turn the flame down a little bit there. Oven on 350. And take these first 6. Take the paper off the edges of them. Plop them down. These are the thicker 6. I made 6 thin ones and 6 thick ones. These are going to be the thick base for our windows. I'm doing round windows. It's probably going to look a little more authentic if you break out the triangle or other shapes than just rounds for these. Especially if you're doing a whole bunch of them. And then we need to find what round is somewhat close to our ovals, because these are actually sort of ovals, but too big. Questionably too big still. So I guess we're going with that. Yeah. And stir the onions and fix the camera focus because it's unfocused again. And fix the cutting board focus. Okay. Bring this over here so everyone can see what I'm doing. So I've made the first one there. So we got our first little window. And we just need to keep going with that. We'll take the center out of it. Take the paper off carefully. And transfer to one of these in somewhat the same direction because they are oval. You can fill them with the sugar before you put this on top or after, depending on your preferences. Turn the heat off on that now and just let the pan coast. And all the scraps here obviously can be rolled into other cookies too. Hey Smitty, not a good dinner command tonight. We're doing Warhead Candy's ingredient challenge. I'm working on making some stained glass window cookies, or sugar cookies that look like stained glass. I'm making little windows right now in the cookies that we're going to fill with sugar, or rather ground up Warhead's candy. And I'm also making a lemon green apple sauce for our pork meatballs tonight. And on Friday we have our canned mystery basket, which it did eventually get you an answer to your command there, but it's not doing too great with that tonight. I don't know if I want to even try and take these out of the bags. It just feels like that's going to be a mess. A couple, but typically like 3 ingredient mac and cheese. I typically got a flat of evaporated milk and some dried pasta around home. Whatever cheese in the refrigerator. 20-30 minutes. Most of that's just cooking the pasta. I was never, like, I don't dislike ramen, but I've never been a huge ramen fan, so a lot of people, their first choice is ramen. Maybe we got a few Costco hot doggers out there, or something along that line. I'm hoping these actually melt nicely. I don't know if they will or not. Want to know something, chat? We've talked about Costco hot dogs quite a few times actually on chat here. And I've bought them and I've done Costco hot dog stuff at home. I've never ate a Costco hot dog. Like, at Costco, I've never gotten the hot dog deal. I never eat there. Like, most of the time I'm done with Costco and I'm like, I got stuff that's cold, I gotta go. I don't want to sit here. Take and Bake Pizza is pretty high up on my list there. I love me a Newman's Own baked pizza. Even though it's a little like a cracker crust pizza, it's still delicious. And relatively inexpensive compared to other options. candy's all sticking to itself, so it's making it hard to sort of spread it out and have it look like it's inside the rim. But we're going with it as best I can here. But those are few and far between. Like, I have so much food from streams and stuff like that where it's rare that I'm eating on top of what I have here. It's like last night I still had the choice of did I go for beef stew or more green pea. Okay, cookies going in the oven. We'll see how these turn out. I think it's the first time I've tried doing... I've certainly seen stained glass cookies before. I think this is the first time I tried making them. I don't remember trying these before. Chicken adobo. Good time. That requires having adobo around, though. And I've talked before about how right after I got out of college, I was just like, rice, and more rice. Like, I had just traveled to China. I had, like, I was, and so, like, I was doing all sorts of fried rice, all sorts of just mixed rice dishes to have around home. And it was thoroughly frustrating after having that period in my life being great with cooking rice. And I started streaming. For some reason, when I started streaming, me and rice just did not click. Like, I could not cook rice on stream for some reason. As silly as that sounds. And now it's pancakes. I can't do pancakes on stream. But rice I'm doing pretty good these days. But like the first year, I was just like out of my mind annoyed, like, this is rice, how can this be so hard? Yeah. Like, 2 to 1. Bring it to a boil, let it sit for a couple of minutes, yeah. Like I said, now it's pancakes. I can't seem to make pancakes on stream to save my life. Well, thanks, bot. That's hugely engaging for the chat. Thank you. It's okay, I gotta go. I'm going over all of the caption stuff. And I was saying this at the beginning of the stream, and I'll repeat myself. I'm going over all of the caption stuff, and so the bot, for its chat summaries, for its analysis, for its recipes, for all of that stuff. It's all getting reworked again. Again. Alright, back over to savory stuff here. We have our sauce. I am going to turn the heat back on to that on the left-hand side of the stove. And we are going to starch it. We're going to starch it. Starch it, starch it. But the more important, more annoying thing, Smitty, was I had already gone through a phase of being, like, amazing with rice. It was, it turned the cameras on and all of a sudden I couldn't function. Like, it was so, like I said, it still works for pancakes now. If you're just joining in, this is a green apple lemon warhead and lime sauce that we're going to be using. I'm going to thicken this and glaze this over my pork meatballs. Still debating if I want to add jalapeno into this party. Like, it looks like a jalapeno party. Looks green. I'm royally tempted to want to add some sort of umami into that sauce, but it's just going to turn it darker. Like, even just adding soy sauce into that is going to turn it brown. I don't want that. I am going to add some garlic, though. Garlic sounds like a winner. Garlic's always great for adding some savoriness to things. Yeah, no liquid smoke in there. No liquid smoke. Just say no to liquid smoke. Alright, starch going into our bubbling liquid. I almost want to add more starch to that, but I'm out of starch in my starch cup. I need more starch. Oh, nose. I'm sorry for forcing you to watch an ad. What is the sauce? The sauce has been going for quite a while. It is melted green apple and lemon warheads with some lime juice, and I'm thickening that now with some starch. I added a little bit of garlic seasoning in there. This is going to be our sweet, savory, acidic sauce for our meatballs. Alright, bit more slurry made up here. There we go, that's nice and thickened up now. Meatballs. Need to form meatballs. They're very similar. Most meatballs are going to have more of an Italian seasoning mix to them than... Might be a bit more potent than meatloaf mix. Meatloaf I think of being more beefy though too. Like, neither one of them are set in stone in what they're made of, but... And seasoning for a meatloaf is likely to have more of the, like, tomato seasoning, like it's got ketchup, than meatballs. I'm gonna try and quick punch out another couple of these before we pull those cookies out. Last one's a bit small, but we'll go with it. Now we'll get those cookies out of the oven. Thank you, Muskeg, for that resub. Greatly appreciate that. Hopefully you're having a great Wednesday. Price-wise, I would say meatballs are probably one of the better options right now because they're a great way at home to stretch that meat a little bit, with meat being ever so expensive right now. They all want to sell you meatballs. You can make them at home and you know, save the money yourself versus paying meat prices for bread. Let's see how these cookies turned out. These aren't very windowy. They're pretty, but they're not very windowy. My cookie dough spread too much. I used a sugar cookie dough that was too soft, I guess. We lost our definition. I did add leaveners to the dough. That was probably a mistake. They did leave a nice color. Nicely colored, yes. Yeah. Harder cookie dough next time. I tried to get away with the soft cookie dough. Let those sit over here. Actually, we don't have good room for those to sit over here. Let's let those sit over here. And we'll get on to doing meatballs. Do I want to do these in this pan or transfer that? No, we're going to do rice in this pan. Leave the oven on so we can finish our meatballs in there. Hit those all up with a bit of salt. Smitty, I don't know if I asked you this before. Is your like a gamer tag, AMF your gamer tag, or are you a bowling fan? So I see your name and I keep thinking of bowling alleys. You don't have to tell me if it's something that's not, but so next project here is seeing our balls. Yeah, it's one of the major bowling brands, at least here in the United States. There's all sorts of AMF branded stuff in bowling alleys, which is why I'm thinking of it. That sounds like that's par for the world these days. I created this for my Fortnite gaming group, but now I'm in a professional setting and still using the same email joke. Do I bowl? I have bowled. I'm capable of bowling. It's probably been a decade. I don't remember when the last time I went to the Petaluma bowling alley, but that was quite a while ago. I don't even know if the Petaluma bowling alley still exists. Let's get some rice. I went to 2 colleges. I went to a smaller college before I went to the Culinary Institute of America. The smaller college that I went to before I went to the Culinary Institute of America, I actually took bowling as one of my phys ed course requirements. Yes, there was a college class for bowling. I don't know if it was a thing or if it was just that school. Like, I didn't have phys ed requirements with the Culinary Institute. I got my bachelor's there. You know, it was so long ago that I don't even really remember. I do know that we spent a lot of time in a bowling alley. We're starting up our rice here. Let's add some water into this now. Bowling sort of became a thing at CIA too when I was there. That was more bachelors though. We used to hang out in bowling alley. Or forgetting who. Was that Cat? Someone was arranging like bowling parties. I've talked about that school before. Like, I got royally frustrated. I started out in computer stuff at that school and bounced around all over the place. I did all sorts of stuff at that school. But I started off trying to go into computers and stuff like that, and just got annoyed with, 101 prerequisites that I was never going to use. Yeah, flames! Fire! Everything's fine. I want this pan to cover our rice when that comes to a boil, so we're going to transfer our meatballs to this pan here. And any of the flavor left over in this pan is just going to drip into our rice, so no losses there. Meatballs go down in the oven. Let those finish cooking through. And we come back to our sauce here. Let's see what we got here. I can taste a little bit of the lemon apple. Not so much the lime. The lime sort of disappeared. It's still relatively sweet. I can't really taste the garlic that's in there. I can tell it's there, though. I know it's there, but... Do I add jalapeno? I think I'm gonna skip it. I put cayenne in with the meatballs, so there's gonna be a little bit of spice there. Oh, that's what I can use. That's what I was gonna throw in this. I bought it just for this too. I completely forgot that I bought it. Hi, Carl. Not a good menu command tonight. We're working with Warheads candies tonight. We've got Warheads sugar cookies. They're supposed to be stained glass window sugar cookies, but they didn't quite turn out. We're making meatballs, and the green sauce you see there is sour apple and sour lemon sauce for our meatballs, and I'm going to add some red pepper flake. The sourness didn't really go away. There's definitely some tartness there. However, Warheads, they're really just coated on the outside. So the amount of sour there is to candy and sweet is actually pretty minor. It's a little bit like it's a lemon sauce right now. It's not like it's overly sweet sour. It's just got some tart to it. That's going to do nice things to brighten up and liven up our meatballs. I'm going to have a cookie button. Nice bottoms. Sweet and sour is sure what I'm shooting for. I don't have apricot tonight to work with. But, by the way, sweet and sour is apricot. If you haven't, I've talked about that before. That was a sort of viral thing that went around not too long ago, a news article pointing that out, that the sweet and sour was apricot. I had never thought about it, and it clicked to my mind. I'm like, yeah, it is. We boiling over here? Yep. So we'll turn off the heat on our rice. We'll give both of those 10 more minutes. Orange juice is good for a sweet and mildly tart. I guess orange juice is one of the things in stores that's majorly increased. I don't buy orange juice very often, so I haven't been paying attention to that. I mean, just about everything has had a pretty significant increase in price in the grocery store. But apparently OJ is one of the big ones. Olive oil is one of the big ones. Alright, let's take a couple minutes AFK while we let that all wrap up. It's all in the oven right now anyways. Be back here in about 8 minutes. We do have a new ingredient challenge going in the Discord for next week. If Discord wanted to load for me. We have starfruit versus yogurt. Both of those are a little disturbing in the gift department tonight. So I'll see all of you back here in a couple of minutes.
3, 2, 1, blast off. She's up. Come in ideal countdown control. Ready for second launching.
Atlas moving into position.
Fuel her up.
All set.
Countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! There she goes!
Yes, you can be in command of your own ideal countdown. It's a real electronic missile base. You sit at the controls and move missiles into place. You count down. You blast off. You track the flight. The ideal countdown comes complete with moon missile and lunar probe, as well as a giant atlas. Get your electronic ideal countdown now, wherever good toys are sold.
It's a wonderful toy. It's ideal.
Here's an amazing free offer for everyone who's overweight. Even if you've tried other methods and failed, you can still lose ugly fat fast. Yes, thousands can tell you that calometric control is the only safe, sure, effective way to reduce. Now, this package contains the Wonder 10-Day Diet that gives you 3 delicious meals a day, plus a bedtime snack, even includes a jog for your willpower. Yet you take only 3 calometric tablets a day. And here's the sensational free offer. A 30-day supply of wonderful calometric tablets. A certified $3.50 value when you buy the regular calometric way to weight control. You save $3.50. Now, that's a $7 value for only $3.50. A 50% saving. And how can you get your free bottle of calometric tablets? Well, just send in this calometric box top with your name and address. Your druggist will give you a postage-paid envelope already addressed to the calometric company. Now, don't lose hope, lose weight. Get calometric reducing formula at your drugstore. Send the box top in the free postage-paid envelope. Get your $3.50 bottle of calometric tablets free. Don't wait, act now.
What? Keeping the coffee in the icebox?
Yes, Mr. Jones, it's a new kind of coffee, roasted by a new secret process. Hence, this new none-such coffee has a different flavor, a flavor preserved by vacuum packing, the flavor retained by refrigeration after the jar has been opened. Just taste it. You can't miss that delicate aroma, that clean, mellow taste. Yes, in cooking, the way to a man's heart is most of all through the coffee pot. In every jar, you'll find 3 special pointers, valuable in all methods of making coffee. Try new none-such coffee now. Use half the jar. If not 100% satisfied, get all your money back from your grocer without argument. Special for movie week, only 28 cents a pound, plus 3 cents refundable deposit on the jar.
Well, no wonder my laundry bill is so high. All those napkins last week.
Doeskin.
What?
You should use Doeskin dinner napkins.
Paper napkins? Oh, no.
I don't mean thin little paper napkins, but Doeskin dinner napkins. You'll love them.
Everybody loves Doeskin dinner napkins. These soft linen-like napkins are 2-ply in smart formal fold, in white and in beautiful pastel colors. And Doeskin dinner napkins are big. They cover your whole lap, and they stay put. What's more, they last throughout the meal, and they leave no lint.
But they are nice. And they would save my linen.
They save you money, too. Doeskin dinner napkins cost only 49 cents for 5 dozen. That's a fraction of a penny apiece.
All right, Dottie.
You'll find Doeskin dinner napkins, Doeskin facial tissues, and other Doeskin products at your favorite grocery, supermarket, department store, or drugstore. Look for the brown dispenser box.
Doeskin.
A pleasure, Milton. In just a moment, we'll see how well Milton does at the Pentagon. But if you want to see busy hands at your house, just you offer this lively Christmas party dip that's so good to serve with king-size Fritos corn chips. Just follow the recipe right on the Fritos package. Of course, it calls for the famous Philadelphia brand cream cheese. an 8-ounce package, which we blended with 2 tablespoons of milk till it's nice and smooth, like so. Then come 2 tablespoons of Kraft cream-style horseradish for zesty flavor, a 1/4 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and finally, a dash of salt. And we'll blend our Philly mixture again. And when party time comes, let the folks enjoy this wonderful Philly horseradish dip with crisp king-size Fritos. There are those busy hands. Just remember, you make the best-tasting dips with the freshest-tasting cream cheese you can buy. Philadelphia brand cream cheese, made only by Kraft.
Now, at your favorite grocery store, the most amazing food wrap ever developed, Saran Wrap.
Have you tried Saran Wrap? It really is amazing. Saran Wrap is crystal clear plastic. It keeps everything you wrap in plain sight. And look, Saran Wrap clings like magic. It makes a neat package of anything you wrap, without strings or tape or rubber bands. Food stay fresh far longer and tastes better, too, because the flavor is locked in. Now you can prepare sandwiches for picnics and lunch boxes ahead of time and be sure they'll stay fresh and tasty. You see, Saran Wrap is a wonderful time saver as well as a food saver. Prove it in your own kitchen. Buy a roll of Saran Wrap today and you won't be without it again.
Get Saran Wrap at your...
All right, welcome back. Let's get some music going back again. I got these out because I need to add some green onion to our party. Oh, hush, oven. Hush, 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 hush. Quiet. So we're going to slime our meatballs now. I'm going to reserve some of that so we can put it on the bottom of the plate where I'm putting them. Save some of that for plate garnish, the rest is going to just go in the rice. Let's see what our rice turned out like. Alex, I just saw your message about Saran Wrap. The Saran Wrap ad. At your finest local grocers. This is obviously going to need salt. I previously salted those veggies, but certainly didn't season that rice. So, going with pepper. MSG. Garlic. There we have dinner. Oops. Forgot to throw this on there first. Candy is not in the rice. The candy is in the sauce. The sauce is the apple and lemon that I've done for a glaze for over the meatballs. And then we've got the cookies. So these came out colorful, but they very much did not come out looking like windows. Gonna have to work on the sugar cookie recipe in order to use those for a form that's gonna stay in shape. I should have thought about that and should have known what I was doing when I added the leaveners in there. If you want something to keep shape, you don't want it bubbling up and changing. Oops. I mean, the egg is going to have some leavening to it on its own, but yeah. Should have been a lower egg, no leavener, sugar cookie recipe instead of what I did do. They still turned out looking pretty. They just weren't what I was after. More along the lines of a shortbread. Yeah, Crawdalt. Like, I still wanted to call it a sugar cookie. I wouldn't want to call it a shortbread. But you say shortbread and people think of something that tastes a bit like flour. At least I think of that. Rarely do they actually taste like butter or sugar or... I mean, other than maybe like the kings of the category, but they're usually spiced or like Biscoff is cinnamon. So ginger snaps, ginger. No, I think of Danish butter cookies when someone says Danish butter cookies. I don't think of them when someone says shortbread. They do have shortbread in those tins, though, don't they? Huh. I'll have to think about that one. Anyways, I'm gonna go and enjoy my dinner. Gonna be back here on Friday. We're gonna be doing Can It Be Delicious on Friday. So, canned mystery basket. All sorts of fun. Hopefully everyone shows up early on Friday to help vote. Give me guidance on what I'm gonna be making my dinner from. Sunday, we're gonna be doing lasagna chiladas. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. I think that's how it's pronounced. We're combining the ingredients of lasagna with flour tortillas and making it like enchiladas. So instead of pasta, we're using flour tortillas. Otherwise, the ingredients are the same as lasagna. I'm going to be doing Italian sausage. I'm going to be doing either ricotta or cottage cheese or some form along that line. Maybe a bechamel of some form. I don't know what I'm up to as far as that. And then to top it all with, instead of topping it with a enchilada sauce, we'll top it with a marinara and mozzarella and bake the whole thing off. I thought it was a fun thing. I'm not inventing this. I thought I was being creative when I was looking at it, but this is recipes all over the internet, so everyone's done this one before, apparently. And we're continuing into more Italian into next week. We're going to do pasta fagioli next Monday. And we're going to be doing chicken parm next Sunday. So, all that good stuff. New vote up in the Discord for next week's ingredient challenge. Let's see, who can we pass the love on tonight? I am trying to raid out every night these days. Just trying to go there. I don't know why, but I am. That sounds like a good one. I'm going to send you off to another food and drink creator. I'm going to send you off to Lumpling Laura, who's doing maple cranberry banana bread and eating dinner. So I wish you all a lovely evening. And hope to see you back here on Friday. Come on, let me raid. Good night, folks.